What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are talking all things traveling ultrasound. Okay, so being an ultrasound tech as a traveler has a lot of pros and cons. I won't go over all of them, but I will discuss, as a traveler, there are two different types. You could be a contract sonographer, or you could be a kind of like an employee sonographer to the company that you're registered with. So the first step in traveling ultrasound would be finding a company that will take you on as a client. So I'm talking about like staffing agencies. There's a few of them out there. Arias, there's Med Staff, there's so many. But you would call this company up and say, hey, I'm a sonographer, and then they'll patch you into who does the placements for sonographers. And you would talk with this person, and they will go over all of your information, your background, how long you've been a tech, how many years you've been working, what kind of salary you're expecting, things of that nature. And once you guys come to like, okay, well, perfect, you're a good fit, then the next step would be is fill out all their application information online. You submit it to that person, and then they'll send you over a skills checklist, which is checking off pretty much like a grading score from like 1 to 5, or strongest to not so strong, or not, I don't know this modality at all, to like a grading scale, correct? So once you do that, they'll send that to you. You fill that all out. You'll send that back to them. They'll look over all your paperwork to say, hey, do we think we have a company that will suit her needs, or that she's suitable for? And say, yeah, they do. We found, this company, and this hospital is looking for, you match. It's like they have to match you up with what the companies are looking for. And so say you match the company, and you go and so they'll call the company, and they'll submit your information to the manager who's hiring or who is looking for the traveler. And once the hospital says, hey, yeah, Tamika's a good tech, Tamika's a good prospect, and once they say that, then so like the staffing agency is like the liaison between me and the hospital, and so since that's the case, your staffing agency should kind of like go to bat for you and make sure that your needs are being met with that staffing, with that hospital or facility. So say the facility says, yep, we are interested in Tamika, we want to interview you. So they'll call the staffing agency will call me, and then I'll have a direct interview, either face-to-face, Zoom, or Skype, or call you directly over the phone. And then you guys will have a verbal interview, and depending on how that interview goes, if the manager feels like, okay, yeah, you'll fit in, then she'll call the liaison, which is a staffing agency, and then the staffing agency's, hey, Tamika, you know what, that hospital really liked you, and you're a good fit. They want you to start in a week. Are you available? Absolutely, I'm available. And you go from there. So let me back up just a little bit. Before you accept that position, or before they have called that hospital, they would have said, hey, this hospital is located in Boston, Massachusetts. Are you willing to travel there? And if you say yes, then that's when all that other stuff will take place. But if you say, no, I'm kind of looking to stay around my area, do you have something in California? Then they'll do the research and see if they have a match for me for a facility in California. You don't never have to accept the job that they offer you. You kind of say, hey, I'm looking for Hawaii, Alaska, and New Mexico. Do you have anything in those 3 places? And if they say, yeah, we do, then that's when you'll go forth and go with the process of what I just spoke about, which is amazing. Traveling as a single person is awesome. Just my background, I traveled for 14 years and I have had the most fun ever. I didn't feel comfortable to travel prior to me like making sure I knew all the exams prior to going to traveling. So I made sure that I knew how to do an OB. I made sure that I knew how to do a pelvic from start to finish. All these exams are from start to finish. I knew how to do an abdomen. I knew how to uphold my patient count. So I knew how to hold my weight working with other techs. Walking into a facility, that's important, because the one thing that they're going to make sure that you're, you know, not slacking on is speed, efficiency, and also knowing what you're doing and helping out the department, because that's why you're there. They need help, and if you can't be that help for them, then you're not going to be a good fit. So make sure that you have the experience under your belt before you start traveling, because these hospitals expect you, these facilities expect you to know your stuff, know that you're confident, and you're able to work independently. That's huge. If you look at any job description, it's going to say, can you work independently? Like, make sure that you are applying for this job and you work independently. So it took me 2 years before I started traveling. So from graduation, getting my first job in 2 years, then I started traveling, and it was amazing. It was amazing going to different cities and states. Well, I didn't travel to different states, but I did travel to different cities. And traveling is, if you're in outside of your like home address, 45 minutes. So that's what traveling is, you know, is based on. If it's 45 minutes to an hour outside your home radius, then you're a traveler. So I traveled from the peak of Northern California all the way down to San Diego area, and I absolutely enjoyed every bit of it. The perks of traveling is, one, you get to experience new environments, different work areas. It's not something that you're just going every day to. It's not repetitive. You're actually experience a new city, a new environment that way as well. So you're getting to work with different techs, different doctors, and also different equipment, and you're also getting to like enjoy a new city, different area that you've never lived in before. The other thing is that you get paid housing, and that means that they'll set you up in an apartment, a hotel, whichever one you're comfortable with, and they will pay for your housing, and you know, that's all taken care of, and it's like fully furnished. It's pretty much set up for like 2 people. So you'll get I had a 2-bedroom apartment once with, you know, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, family room, living room, kitchen. It was really nice, and they were paying for it, and I didn't have to come out of my pocket for it. The other perk to that is you can actually find your own housing, and they'll pay you, say your stipend housing is, just say $2,000, and you found a place that you want to rent a room for $500. Well, you'll still get that $2,000. They'll give you that money, and you just pay $500 for the room where you're at. So they'll pretty much just give you the $2,000, say, no, I'm going to find my own place. You find a room for rent, and you just pay whatever that room for rent money is, but you'll get that in your check. The other one is competitive salary. You're going to get paid more than what that other ultrasound tech that's permanent there. You get it's like a shift differential type of situation where your pay is kind of like top dollar, because you have to remember they're paying you hourly pay, they pay a per diem for food a day, and they also pay for your housing. Being a sonographer, traveling ultrasound technologist, you are able to actually kind of be either contract employee and you're just there to do your contract, or you could be also accepted on with your traveling agency as a employee per se, because they'll pay, you know, they'll also do the 401k, health benefits, and things of that nature, as long as you're signed up with them. So that's a good thing. You get the luxury of having, you know, insurance and stuff like that, which is not an extra cost. It just depends on what you're wanting. But traveling as a single person is amazing. It's a little intimidating. I never was nervous. Oh gosh, I think one time I was nervous when I moved to LA and I did a travel assignment out there, and I got lost in LA. LA is so big, and I just pulled over, and at that time I didn't have a cell phone, and I called my mom and I was crying. I'm like, I don't know where I'm at, I'm lost. And so she was like, calm down. And so I ended up figuring out things, but that was scary. But other than that, like, now we have cell phones, now we have GPS. I mean, now it's like right here in our hands at all times, and I don't believe like being scared. You're going out there and you're gonna do a job and a service, and you're going out there for the experience. So when you're young, definitely do this when you're young. When you're older, it could be a little bit challenging because you're away from your family, you find loneliness, you're not, you know, typically you're just going there. Now, unless you're, you know, no. Let me tell you this. If you're traveling and you're just trying to make extra money, it's great. You know, right now we're living in a pandemic, and my kids work, their school is at home, you know, and they're on the computers. So my husband has a great job. But if he didn't, and if he had gotten laid off due to this pandemic, we would be traveling. And I say that because, one, I'll be getting a lot more money, and two, we'll have a roof over our head, and three, my kids could be with me, my husband is with me, and they're able to do their schoolwork at home with me on the road. So that's a plus. The other thing is, I'm gonna plug my husband in here, and he's gonna give you guys some insight. He's gonna give you pros and cons of being my spouse as I was traveling, and just give you some insight on the money, the good and the bad of me working, and what I missed out on while he was at home with the kids. And then he's gonna also speak on what are the good things about him and the kids coming with me, and what are the bad things. So, and mind you, keep in mind, my son, our kids were between 1 and 2, maybe, I think. So it's been a minute with them traveling with me, but you know, and nothing has changed in that sense. So now, you know, we have a home, we're stable, he was more big on where I was not. He was more big on, no, our kids have to have a, you know, stability, and they need to go to school, and where I'm more of, no, let's homeschool them and we can just travel the world. And he was like, no. So he's gonna give you guys insight on, from a spouse perspective or a significant other, or just like background, like what his take is on traveling ultrasound tech as well. So first question, David, how did you feel about me traveling?
That's a good question. I mean, it was cool sometimes depending on where you were going. I didn't like necessarily early morning trips, like when you were doing like the Oakland thing, have to get up at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and then, you know, travel all the way down there, or sometimes stay down there for, you know, 3 or 4 days, to where you miss that time with the kids. I mean, as a single wise, I'm pretty sure that would be awesome, because you can travel, see all kinds of different cities and places, and you make a ton of money. But of course, when you have a family, you're going to be away from them, and there's going to be those moments that you're going to miss. Like, she missed the kids. I know what Braxton, you missed him walking, and just different school events and things like that. She missed a lot of that in doing the traveling. It benefited our family, but of course there are those sacrifices that she made at that time. So single wise, if you're a single individual, traveling will probably be a really awesome experience, because it's going to give you, you know, lots of different sights to see, all kinds of money to spend. But for the family environment, it's kind of difficult. Family environment meaning having a stable environment, right? Well, no, meaning having, because, you know, like if you have a husband, if you have kids, it's well, baby, harder. That's the perspective that we're giving them. So yeah, we're married. We had little ones. I think Braxton was what, 9-10 months at the time, and I missed his first walk, like you mentioned, his first words, and I would stay. But me being the good guy that I am, I made sure I recorded all that stuff. So at least she had that to be able to say, okay, well, at least I get to experience what happened, as opposed to like, well, I just never saw
I
it.
missed it, right? I wasn't there physically, but he would send me messages all the time through. Cell phones are great because
Yeah.
it was so cute. I was jealous, but I knew that what I was doing was awesome too, you know. Piggybacking off of what you said though, how did it's not a negative, I guess the negative part of me traveling was me not being home. But when you guys, the positive part of it is majority of the time you guys could travel with me.
Yeah, I mean, in those terms, yeah, that was good and bad, because it's tough, you know, staying in hotels and trying to pack up the kids, and of course, being in a hotel, you got kids who want to run around and they need that space. So I mean, that part is complicated, but yeah, those times where we were able to come and you know, just at least be there, so when she gets back, she's not just in a room by herself, you know, her family's there. That's fun. And of course the kids get to spend time with their mother, and I get to spend time with my wife. So yeah, I mean, that part was cool from time to time, but it, you know, it had its complications too, you know, especially like trying to you gotta be out by 12, and she's not out or off until like 3 or 4 o'clock. So it's, you know, packing up the kids, getting them sitting in the car, trying to drive around places, find stuff for them to do so they don't lose their minds.
Right, like going to the parks and
yeah,
stuff.
So I mean,
it was cool because then like you would take them to like the water and
well, yeah,
Alameda, and that was pretty cool. Yeah,
like that.
So they had a blast while I was at work as well. But like they would come to lunch with me, pick me up for lunch, and we would have lunch together as a family. That was awesome. And then I knew when I got off work they would be there, and then we go out to dinner and enjoy a family time as well. So having your family on the road with you is awesome. It has its pros and cons, and he's mentioned the cons of it, but the pros are, I think, supersede that. Well, I didn't really have to deal with the kids because I was at work.
Right.
But you know, we had good kids. We have good kids.
Yeah, we do. But I mean, no kid wants to be like, okay, well, I know I got toys at home. Why are my toys here? Or like, where's, you know, my big motor car that I can get it and drive around the house? Right. But I can't do that here, and all there is a bed and a bathroom. So,
right,
yeah,
right.
It's a little different.
We would have the pack and play and everything. Mention to them also, you were not working at the time, and how well was the money?
The money is ridiculous. Like, you make thousands of dollars in like a couple days. It didn't make no sense. Like, just unbelievable amounts of money, to where we could do anything. You know, if we were like, okay, well, you know, everything's taken care of in the house, you want to go to Disneyland, all right, well, why not? Or, you know, whatever it was, we were constantly doing trips and constantly buying things. So I mean, the money is absolutely amazing. It's a field that you will be, if you really focus on it and learn your craft, you'll be very well taken care of. Very well taken care of.
That's awesome. Yeah. And you're getting it from him, not just my perspective. He was not cued to say that.
No, I don't believe in all the lying or like try and make something. If I don't believe in something, I will tell you. We have many arguments about different things that I don't believe in. I'm one of those people, and it probably gets on her nerves. I'm a realist. I believe in giving you the real deal all the time, whether it hurts your feelings or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm like, doesn't this outfit look cute? It does, right? No? Okay. I gotta go change. Okay, so yeah, has being a ultrasound tech as a traveler, you mentioned it a little bit, but opened up doors financially for your family?
Of course. I mean, with a lot of money, it's easier for you to do different things. Finance vehicles, buy homes, give you that assurance that you're taken care of, like you don't have to worry about anything. Like with me trying to find a job, and I'm like, as a man, you want to be able to take care of your family, but I'm like stressing, like, okay, I'm struggling to find a job where I can support my family and do everything, and having that partner that's like, oh, don't worry about it, we're okay. it's beyond a blessing. And it's not that we're just okay and we're just barely making it paycheck to paycheck. It's like we're fine. We've got money in the bank. We can do whatever we need to do. Everything's taken care of. Stop stressing. Stop pulling your hair out. You know, the job will come. But until then, we're good. So having that, you know, that backbone or that partner who was able to do that at that point in time was tremendous. And you know, ultrasound or sonography, whichever you want to call it, really provided for our family at that time, because it was a real struggle for me at that time.
Yeah, the economy was hard. It was like 2008, so it went down. He was in sales, and 2008 hit a plummet. But with that being said, that was awesome. Thanks, honey. That gives you guys insight a little bit on from the male's perspective, or the husband, or you know, spouse perspective, and or family even. My mother babysat our kids a lot, and having a strong family, I mentioned this before in a previous video, but a strong family support system is critical when you are trying to live your dreams. But yeah, so I keep on throwing money out there because I get a lot of questions on, okay, is the pay good, you know? And I know I live in Northern California, where we live next to Simi Valley, which is like, what, the guru of technology? Like Silicon. Simi Valley is in LA, my bad. Not Simi Valley. What is Silicon Valley. We live near Silicon Valley, which is what, 2 hours, 3 hours away? And so it really elevates our money as far as like in the tech world, you know, since you know,
cost of living is of course more expensive out here, especially and where they consider more the Bay Area, Silicon Valley. So yeah, so that spills over a little bit into the other cities that are around. So money wise, you're definitely going to get more probably out this way, California.
Or hourly, yeah. They try to match it. They try to match. You know, you may in San Francisco, you might make as an ultrasound tech $56 an hour, close to 60, and then in Sacramento you're probably looking like maybe 46 to 50 an hour starting off. I mean, it's different across the board, but Northern California is known to have great pay, and so we've even discussed about moving out of state based on, you know, living arrangements and money per hour and things like that. And in his mind, since he's such an A-type personality, he does not see where, okay, how does that equate? If we move to Texas and you're making $35 an hour and you are leaving California making $50, how does that equate for, it's the same pay? Well, the cost of living is hugely different.
Not that hugely different.
It is hugely different. See what I'm saying?
I've done the math on it. It's not like I'm saying it's
comment below and let me know if Texas is cheaper than
Texas is
California,
cheaper, it's not,
and if I made $35 to $40 an hour out there, would we be okay? That's what.
I don't need you to comment on. I've already done the math. It doesn't matter what they comment.
Don't tell them that. I need them to comment.
I mean, they can comment, any comment if you think, but I don't.
Tell him he's wrong.
I don't base this off of just like, oh, well, I just think. I base it off of, I've done the math.
So I believe that financially, it equates. That's my person. That's what I believe. He says no, but I've seen evidence. I've seen people thrive from moving out of California. California is so expensive, and you know, the cost of living, where a 5-bedroom 3-bath home here goes for well over $600,000-$700,000, whereas we could get that somewhere else for $2,000 to $3,000.
Really? I definitely get on the moving train.
We could get that like $200,000 to $300,000 somewhere else. But they, you know, with the whole pay difference, it's like, you know, should we do it or should we not? I don't know if this video answered all your questions, but traveling can be amazing. Traveling gives you the opportunity on someone else's pocket to see this world, and You could go to Hawaii, you could go to the Philippines, you could go to Iraq. I know someone who traveled to Iraq before. Like, you could go all over this country and literally see it on someone else's pocket and still make wonderful money, believe me. So one advice that I leave you guys with is make sure that when you walk through those doors as a traveler, you have the experience of working independently. That's it, that's all. So with that being said, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and it was short to the point, but if you have any more questions, leave them down in the comment or DM me over on my Instagram page. And yeah, I am doing I do have a mentor program going, and it's $50 a month for 3 months, and then we'll reevaluate in the 3 months. But that's what we do, that's what I'm doing, and I'm loving it. My students are amazing. And yeah, so I will see you guys in the next one. And if you like this video, you'll like this one or this one. And please subscribe if you are new. My name is Tamika, and thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.